Heyo, what's goody? It's your boy, Devi, and welcome to something new that I'm doing. Welcome to the chaos space. Today, I want to talk about something that I've been struggling with understanding for a while now, and that is something that we all have, social media. Let's begin. The origins of social media could more so be dated back to, I would say, around 1997, if my research isn't mistaken, when the first, I would say, instant messenger site was created, which was AOL. AOL was an instant messaging site for you to be able to message your friends, family, and text people, post whatever music that you were listening to on your dashboard or on your profile. Same thing with MySpace. MySpace was another social media site that was created way back in the early 2000s that everyone used and everyone loved. It was a well-beloved social media site until eventually the new forms of social media started to come in. Then you would have the creation of online forums and forum chats like 4chan or I can't really think of any other ones, but I know 4chan is still a very popular online forum chat. And forum chats were another way in which people would be able to text others with, similar interests and message people on online messaging boards to be able to find people that were, had common interests with them, and, they could be able to make friends and, share pictures or, share video recordings or whatever on those online forum sites. The greatest thing to me about social media back then was the fact that you could literally post whatever you wanted and you didn't get judged for it. You could literally post a photo of something, of you eating fish, of you, in a grainy photo cam, or just getting up out of bed, or just showing a picture of your freshly painted gel nails or whatever. You could show whatever you wanted on social media. However, due to the modern day in which we are now, everything is so based around your likes. Everything is so based around having everything be so pish posh and having everything just be so edited. And this kind of goes into my other topic, in which algorithms have become a thing for many modern social media sites. Algorithms are basically computer-generated and AI-generated tools on these social media sites that are able to help you see things that you may like, help you see things that you may have a common interest in. They kind of are monopolies to kind of help you see whatever you like and, make you stay on social media a lot longer than what you need to. There's a documentary on Netflix, I'm sure a lot of us probably watched it over this past year of quarantine, called The Social Dilemma. And I do think it is very interesting that a lot of app developers, and one of the original developers on Facebook, implemented this entire tool to make social media kind of like a gambling addiction, where whenever you would get a like or a comment or a new follow, it would kind of pop up and, make you feel more validating, adding in this sort of feeling of validation that you can be so validated based off of something that as simple as a like or a comment or a new follower on your form of social media. And this is especially very relevant with a lot of what we see nowadays, where people will do anything that they want and anything that they can do to try and get attention and clout. And as some would say, clout is one hell of a drug. As we all know, social media has been around ever since the early 2000s. And social media has went through a lot of different changes, from the early days of MySpace, back when you could literally code and turn your entire MySpace account into like a little website or whatever, adding your own backgrounds, your own graphics and everything, to the social medias that we have nowadays that are so controlled by algorithms. For me, I haven't really been able to use the old forms of social media, like MySpace, because I didn't really get a phone until I was like, I think in 6th grade, I believe. So that was like the first time I ever actually got a phone for myself. Then I started using apps like Kik. And if any of you are, Gen Z or millennials, you would know that Kik is and was one of the best messaging apps that we had during that time. Until, other forms of messaging started becoming more relevant, like WhatsApp and Snapchat and Discord. But Kik was the form of what we had after AOL and other social media instant messaging sites ended up, going away. Then eventually there would be apps like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram that would end up dominating what we know as of the modern day social media. I've had multiple, and I mean multiple, Instagram accounts, though they've never been deleted by the algorithm or by Instagram themselves. It's just I go through many different changes every other 2 years or so, where I feel like I want to get rid of certain social media apps that I don't use, or I feel like my personality or something about myself is beginning to start to change. So I want to kind of reflect that off of my social media. My first Instagram account, I should say, it was dedicated more towards cartoons and fan art and animation. But then, shortly after that, around 2017, I believe, is when I decided to change it up, and I got my own, regular Instagram account, I guess, where I decided to start posting more selfies and more of myself, I would say, because that was during the time when social media, where people were starting to get more of like that, self-love, self-care era of social media, where everyone wanted to show off, what they look like. Everyone was so happy and prepared to, start, showing themselves, and, as well as Instagram aesthetics and stuff like that was a big thing as well. So around that time, I started to create that account. I think I called it deViianceTV or deViianceRx, something like that. I still have that account. So it's, if you want to follow me, it's Hey Devi with 2 Y's and 2 I's. I might link it down in the description below. But I don't really use that Instagram account anymore as much as I used to. I mean, I recently uploaded a new picture, but I don't really post on it as much. Mainly because I have more of like my family and my friends that follow that account. I used to use it to post more of like my artwork and just some of my creations that I used to post. But eventually that started to get kind of tiring because nobody was really supporting when it came to my art and my struggles of being a small artist on social media. Yes, my friends would like my pictures, and yes, they would, care about everything that I was doing, but it just didn't translate whenever I would see that I would get like 40 or 50 likes on like a selfie, back when my Instagram account was somewhat popping. And then I would only get like at least a good 20 or 30 likes on a picture that I drew, or a picture that I painted, or a picture that I edited on Photoshop or using PixArt or something. So that is kind of where a lot of my struggles with social media have started to fall. Being a small artist on social media isn't the best thing, is what I will say. Social media really more so caters towards its influencer culture and people that are influencers and people that want to make money on social media and make it their day job. But there are some people that are very talented. There are some people that don't want to always show their face, or they want to show more of themselves than the materialistic or the vanity of the human experience, and that is what you physically look like. Because on social media, all you ever see people doing is commenting emojis and lusting after, the newest heartthrob on social media, whether it be from someone that's now a new YouTuber or from someone that's a TikToker now or whatever. There's really not a lot of creativity on social media as much as there used to be. And that can be a huge struggle from a small struggling artist like me who can't really get over like a good 20 or 30 measly likes. And I know it may sound like I'm complaining because there are some artists that barely get any attention, and then there are some artists that get so much attention, but yet they're still not happy with how they're viewed on social media. And I can definitely understand that, because on social media, another thing that artists have to face is the fact that their art gets stolen. Now, I'm not the biggest person that when it comes to anyone wanting to like reshare or repost my art, I'm not really that fazed by it. I feel like it's more of like a compliment than anything that someone wants to repost or reshare my art. But for some people, they don't like it. And that's well respected. And I believe that, everybody is entitled to their own opinions on how people should view their art. And I feel as well, that it's so tragic that whenever artists that are on different social media sites end up posting their art and it gets reposted onto another one, like say for instance someone creates something on DeviantArt or DeViantArt, I've never been able to say that word, but whenever someone would post something on DeViantArt or Tumblr and then it would get reposted onto Instagram, the Instagram account that would be reposting fan art or whatever of famous TV shows or animated shows will get tons and tons more likes than the person that posted their art on their own platform. And that can be very struggling and very sad to some artists, because it's like your art is basically being stolen and being reshared to another person's platform, and they're getting more of the gratification and more of the justice than what you were getting. So I can definitely understand what some people say when it comes to, struggling artists and artists getting their artwork stolen, because it can be a lot. It can be a lot to handle, and it can be a tough thing to want to try and experience, especially if you're so small that you're trying to get your own name out there and you really can't because you're having to battle an algorithm. Now I'm getting into my favorite topic, and that is dragging and talking about all the problems with the modern socials. Now, I know that there can be good sides to every part of social media, and there can be bad sides. However, this is from my own perspective. This is all alleged, but it's based on my own experience. So, thank you, and let's begin. The first social that I want to talk about is Instagram. Now, I'm sure that we all have our own problems with Instagram, whether it be the algorithm, or whether it be not being able to get your stuff be seen, or whether it not being a chronological timeline. But I think we can all safely say that Instagram does not care about its regular users, allegedly, for entertainment purposes only. Instagram has moved on to being more about influencers and celebrities, when in actuality, the main user base of Instagram really is its regular everyday users. It's regular creators, it's regular live streamers, it's even it's entertainers, but I don't even really want to give them all of the credit, because they still kind of fall in line with the problem of social media, or at least of this social media, which would be influencers and celebrities taking over the entire website and making it so much of a commodity, and making it more of like an Instagram portfolio for your selfies and everything else, instead of it being just like a regular Instagram account. Let's not even forget the fact that blogs and many other sites on social media are able to get a lot of their attention and a lot of their fan base and a lot of their followers from being able to blog and talk about so many different types of social media influencers and celebrities. There's several blogs on social media, especially on Instagram, that is dedicated to talking about whether it be high-profile celebrities, whether it be YouTubers, TikTokers, influencers in general, or whatever. And not to say that there's anything wrong with that, and they can do whatever they want, but it kind of falls in line with the fact that all social media really cares about is just the more fakery and the crockery of what these celebrities are doing, instead of really being able to cater more towards people that are talented and people that are not involved in drama and people that aren't doing things for clout. But we live in a society, and society be societying. That was such a tongue twister. But we do live in a society where people tend to care more about influencers and social media people and what they're doing, rather than caring about the regular people that are just trying to make an honest living, or trying to create things, or trying to do whatever they can, and just exploring and expressing their creativity and their art. And the fun in social media has really gone away because social media has become such a huge monopoly. I follow many social media accounts that have said that they've been shadow banned, or that they've been censored from being able to post certain types of things, or whether they're posting more serious subjects and, make you think more. You're able to get shadow banned for being able to post those things and things that don't agree with the popular parts of the media. And that's really sad to me, because it basically shows that the media doesn't care about the truth, or they don't care about, opening your mind and opening yourself up to think of things that are more different, or making you think outside of the box about certain things, making you wake up, or making you see things that aren't so peachy keen in our society. And that really sucks, especially when you have great bloggers and stuff like Lovely T. She's a YouTuber on here, and she talks about getting censored all the time. And that can be a sad problem, especially when you're trying to make your living be based off of blogging, or being able to make a living trying to tell the people and tell the public about certain things that you see that's wrong, and how the narrative of the media tends to change things up based around what they want to push, or what they want to be seen. And that's just kind of sad. It's hard for me as well to be able to try and get seen on social media, especially mainly towards my more creative side. I went about creating a new Instagram recently. If you want to follow me, it's literally just the same name as my YouTube and everything else. But I went about creating a new Instagram just to be able to try and put my art and all my things that I use on another social media app that has had a very controversial start and beginning, but we'll get to that towards the end of this topic. But I created it just because I just wanted to have like a separate page for more of like my business and more of my art and more of my creations. And it's still growing because I recently created it like no less than like I think a week or two ago. And sometimes I kind of am not in the biggest favor of wanting to keep it, because my thing with social media, especially mainly Instagram, is the fact that I get very drained from using it. I get drained from using Instagram, from using Twitter, TikTok, and many others that just don't really feed me what they want to feed me, and it's just not giving what it's supposed to give, which is so sad, because it used to be on social media that you can get so much attention and just post whatever you wanted without it having to be, thought of or edited in a certain format. But now everything is so manufactured, and it's just sad. Now we move on to the app that I hate the most, other than TikTok, and that's Twitter. Yay! Twitter is complete crockery. Now, I'm sure you probably guys might be wondering, like, why do I keep saying crockery? But it's just my favorite word that I made up. I don't know if it's a real word or not, but it's just whenever I think something is just complete garbage. It's absolute garbage, love. And Twitter is the absolute garbage of everything on social media and everything that's wrong with social media. Because everything that happens on Twitter is kind of a snowball effect of whatever ends up happening on other social media sites. With Twitter, you have your different sections of Twitter where it's like stan culture, black Twitter, movie, film Twitter, art Twitter, astrology Twitter, and cancel culture Twitter, or PC, SJW, let's be anarchists and destroy society Twitter. You have many different parts of Twitter, and it can be draining on being on any of those parts of Twitter because they all, for some reason, end up melding together and interact together very often, especially whenever there's a new celebrity getting canceled or whenever there's something controversial happening from a producer or from a TV series or whatever. All of these cultures and all these things begin to just start melding in together, and it just creates Twitter to just being this one melting pot of brouhaha, and it can just be very draining just to be on Twitter from time to time. Stan culture is definitely one of the main ones, or the main suspect cultures, that I feel has really made us look so evil as people, and how we tend to just worship people that are just because they're famous or just because they're popular, just because they have great music. Stan culture on Twitter really is very chaotic, and how so many of these celebrities and, influencers, fans just start attacking people and attacking opposing celebrities just because of something that they're doing. Now, granted, there can be some celebrities that can really amp the stuff up and amp it up to where it reaches high lengths of being like a huge all-out Twitter war, but I think it mainly has to do with a lot of the ignorance and the brainwashingness of a lot of these young people that feel the need to want to get on social media and downgrade and bully and obsess over the entire existence of their favorite human being. And that can be very toxic. Which then moves us on to Which then moves us on to cancel culture. And cancel culture is it has been trouble since it was first created. I feel as if when a celebrity is being called out, they should be held accountable for their actions. I don't feel that they should be silenced, and I don't feel that they should be removed unless they're doing something that is greatly offensive towards certain people. Whether, like, if it's a J.K. Rowling, I feel she should be deplatformed. If it's that's where I kind of get a little bit iffy about deplatforming, because I feel like people can voice their own opinions, but I feel as if when it gets to the point of them offending someone, that is where it really can get very toxic to me. And that's partially a huge reason as to why I'm really not on the bandwagon of wanting to cancel celebrities, because I feel people change and their opinions change, but if they don't show any form of growth and they don't show any form of sincerity or sympathy or them wanting to learn and grow and know more, then I do kind of feel as if they do need to be deplatformed. But then when it comes to situations like that, it just kind of shows that if a celebrity like J.K. Rowling was to ever get deplatformed, or heck, even our own former president Trump was to get deplatformed, none of us are safe on social media. And that's always been apparent, but it just shows that social media is starting to become more of a censoring, your own opinions, and free speech just really isn't a huge factor anymore. And people treat social media like it's a court or like it's a jurisdiction, and that shouldn't even really be the case. Where it's like we have a lot of people that are starting to become more politically correct and more socially aware and wanting to try and be social justice warriors and, social media activists online, trying to stick up for, small communities. But I feel as if that you're trying to stick up for things that you don't really know much of anything about. And you're trying to be so politically correct about certain things when it's like, political correctness is okay, but I feel like it gets to a point where it's like, when can we have something that is meant to be funny, a little bit offensive, but funny, and not let it be taken to the point where it's like we get so easily offended by something, And I do blame former apps that, really praised a lot of this culture to where it started moving on to other forms of social media sites. Tumblr was the main app that really praised a lot of this culture of, SJWs and people being politically correct and trying to, be respectable online. But it's like, yes, you can be respectable, but it's like at the same time, it just gets to a point where it's like you're forcing it. And it's like you're trying to enforce people to be a certain type of way or say certain type of things that they may not really agree with, but because you want for them to really respect you in a way that really isn't even being respectful at all. You're just trying to bully the bully to try and make them come across as the bad guy, whereas you come across as the good guy by being able to speak out on what you feel and what you think. And I just don't really agree with that. I really don't agree with it at all. And that's why cancel culture and PC culture have both become such toxic things, because even though they do have a good basis around them, it's based around more so of how humans are able to implement these things. And usually with what humans do, they implement things and then they end up making it worse for people. And there could be a great idea for something, but then there's a bad execution of it. And that is where cancel culture and PC culture has kind of made it so hard to really even voice your opinion or even really stand out and say something that is opposing, because otherwise you'll get bullied off of your own opinion. Or if you have a difference in opinion from someone else, or you kind of agree but you also want to be more so in the gray zone or play devil's advocate, you will still be picked over to an opposite side and be labeled as things that you aren't supposed to even be labeled as. I feel like people that do the labeling of calling you homophobic or transphobic or racist or sexist or any of the ists or phobias is mainly because they're saying something that you don't agree with, so you feel the need to want to try and make their entire argument trash them and call them these things to make them seem as if they're awful human beings. When that isn't even really the case. They could just be trying to say their own opinion on something and still be huge allies of those things, but they don't agree with it. There's many cases like that. And it's just really depressing how you can't even speak and say your own opinion without getting attacked and without being bullied. It's like people want to accept this bullying culture of bullying the bully, or bullying someone that really wasn't even the bully in the first place and was just trying to be the mediator of two things. And all of that is so prevalent on Twitter, and that is what makes me hate Twitter so much. And it's because Twitter will drag, and they will watch you drag someone for filth and kiki and kaka and all that, but then it's like they won't report your account or get rid of your account if you're bullying someone. They'll censor you for speaking out about certain things, speaking out about the truth of the government and everything else. But when it comes to you bullying someone and, harassing someone and talking down on someone, then it's like they won't censor you at all. So I'll pretty much say Twitter is like Bad Girls Club. Where it's like they allow for certain things to happen, but then it's like when it comes to, threats or whatever or anything else, they just let it fly by. They allow you to do anything else, critique everybody else, but they won't allow you to critique the higher ups. And I just don't like that about Twitter, and along with Twitter being so toxic in its own entirety, it's the fact that every single time you get on Twitter and it's no offense to people that do adult content, but I feel as if that there should be NSFW blockers on certain social media sites where you don't want to see something that's NSFW, don't post it or don't put it on my timeline. Allow me to be able to have like a little button or switch to be able to turn it on or off if I want to see it or not. And it's like Twitter more so will praise people that are either doing things for clout, or praise people that are bullying, and praise people that are canceling someone and, bullying the bullies. And they'll praise and allow people to post their nudes and, other adult content on their platform. But when it comes to them trying to push artists and small artists like me or others to try and get their work to be seen, it's like we don't really even get much of a notoriety. We don't really even get much attention at all. And yes, Twitter has a chronological timeline, but barely, and I mean barely, any of my friends or my mutuals or anything like that I follow, they barely ever see any of my work. Now, it could be just because those people are fake, but I'm just saying in my own honest opinion that besides my art mutuals, and they know who they are, hey girlies, if you guys end up listening to this, but they know who they are, and they're some of my strongest and my favorite supporters because they're so creative in their own genres. And I do hope that, if I'm able to get more views on this video or this podcast or not, I can be able to shout them out eventually. That actually might be something I might do. I might shout out my favorite artist. Sorry, I was just brainstorming. This is an audio recording, so it's all going to kind of be very random right now. But I'm having fun talking about this because this has kind of been a video that I've been wanting to plan and I've been talking about since forever. And I just feel like I just want to post it on to the world and just have people listen to my own gripes about social media and just a lot of the downfalls about social media, and how I feel as if social media is getting to the point where it's like there's really no fun in really even using it anymore. It's like Twitter now is also, which is a new thing, they're starting to try and like make you have to pay for content on Twitter. I'm sure Instagram will end up following in line as well, and that's another topic I wanted to get on, is the fact that every social media app is starting to copy every other social media app. Like, WTF? One of the first social media apps that really kind of witnessed this change, or witnessed this stealing of their ideas or their software, is Snapchat. Snapchat was the original app that allowed you to be able to post stories. They allowed you to be able to post, your friends, or create, separate stories for separate occasions and separate people that you want to, watch stories of. Snapchat was the originator of all of that. And then every other social media account, except for maybe TikTok and Clubhouse, have implemented this stories aspect. Twitter is just one of the more recent ones that was ever able to actually implement this entire aspect of being able to post yourself or, on your fleets, which I find Twitter fleets to be the worst name that they could have ever picked for that. I hate that name for Twitter fleets. I really hate it. But Twitter fleets is one of the more recent ones that was able to take on the idea from Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp, and many others. And recently, the implementation of the audio app Clubhouse, which I don't really have a problem with Clubhouse. I just more so think of it to be super serious. And I have other little nitpicks about it as well, mainly about the fact that a lot of celebrities on the app have started to make it seem just like a huge app based on arguing and stuff like that. And just how there's so many different alternative apps like Clubhouse, but because they're not big or anything like that, you're not able to really like hear about them or know about them. As well as the fact that Clubhouse has this awful feature, and I hate the fact that it's such a VIP only thing. And Clubhouse has been around since around like the early parts of last year. So I recently heard about it like no less than like I think November of 2020, and I ended up getting an invite code to join the app from someone that I was asking on Tumblr, and I really have not used that app since. Like, I hate the fact that I was really begging to get on Clubhouse, but it's just the simple fact that Clubhouse is really like no longer that original anymore either, and it's so new and so recent. And it's the fact that Twitter as well, just like Instagram, is starting to steal from other apps as well. And Twitter is starting to steal the voice messaging and the voice group chat apps that Clubhouse created by being able to create something called Twitter Spaces. And there's really been like a few viral Twitter Spaces moments where it would mainly be about stans arguing with each other in these Spaces chat rooms, and I find it to just be so trash.
But guess what, bitch? I'm from Brooklyn, bitch! I'm from fucking Brooklyn, bitch!
So the fuck am I? The fuck? The ghetto! The ghetto!
But no lie, I probably would use it one day. And hopefully, if I'm able to, really get that feature, I can create the chaos space and be able to create that feature and allow all of us to, anybody that ends up viewing this, to end up having conversations on Twitter and just chatting it up about whatever. But yeah, Clubhouse is one of the more newer apps that was able to have this feature, and now it's basically being stolen from them by Twitter. And I'm sure eventually Instagram is going to end up implementing this as well, because Instagram is the OG, the Christopher Columbus of stealing people's stuff. And then it's like you have OnlyFans, and OnlyFans is going to be another instance where it's like OnlyFans was like a premium content-based app, where it was more so about people being able to post like, their nudes and, adult content and stuff. And eventually it started getting very big and stuff in the celebrity world, and celebrities started, creating their own accounts on OnlyFans, to where now OnlyFans has become a big money market for people to be able to just post whatever they want to post on there. Now, I don't mind OnlyFans. It's just a simple fact that I'm more of like a Patreon type of guy. I do have a Patreon. I probably will link it down in my description box below if you guys want to subscribe to it. But I do have a Patreon. It's just the fact that I kind of need more people on it to be able to really like start posting content on there. But I wouldn't be posting, like, I'm not the type of person that would post like nudes or adult content on anything. I feel like it's more so of my own sacredness, and if people want to, they can post whatever they want. But for me, I'm just not that type of person. I'll enjoy some of your content, but I'm not going to be posting any of mine. Like, that's just a no for me. But eventually, I do think Instagram is probably going to end up implementing this exact same feature where they're going to have you pay for premium content. Because if Twitter's already starting to do it now, I'm definitely sure Instagram will be doing it next. Because Instagram has already kind of stolen the TikTok version, and TikTok's Reels. Instagram now has Reels, and it's not really as big or as different as TikTok, and YouTube is kind of starting to do the same thing. And also YouTube has the stories as well. Like I said, so many social media apps are starting to steal other social media app ideas, and it's just becoming so unoriginal. Like, it's kind of sad. Like, it really is kind of sad. And now, let's get into the app that everyone loves, but I hate, but still will sometimes use, TikTok. Now, I know a reason for why everyone pretty much loves TikTok is because of how much it kind of reminisces people of the old app Vine. But TikTok is kind of like its own app within itself, but kind of like an updated version of what Vine would be like if it existed within 2020 or within the 2020s. The thing I kind of don't really like about TikTok is predominantly there's so many problems with it. I have a little post on my Tumblr, which I will link down below in the description, talking about the many problems on why TikTok really is such a problematic app. And hopefully you guys will be able to really get more of an understanding from my own point of view on why I think TikTok is really such a problematic app, because it involves many different things, and a lot of things that everybody was talking about last year that made TikTok such a problematic app. But I'll talk about a few of the things on this video podcast. If you're listening on any other app or whatever, on the video version, you can definitely go down in my description and just click the link below to be able to see the rant, or more so vent, of what I was talking about. And I even, put some other type of apps that are similar to TikTok, and you can check those out as well. But let's move on to the trends of TikTok. Now, I was watching a video yesterday about Casey Aonso. I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering her name, but she was making a video yesterday about how a lot of influencers tend to want to try and start making music and start bursting into, the industry now, trying to become more known. And influencer culture, in my opinion, which kind of ties into TikTok trends, it really sucks. The reason why I kind of hate the fact that influencer culture has become such a huge thing now, and the reason why I kind of hate the fact that you can even make money on social media, is because people go through the greatest lengths to doing the most stupidest things. With influencer culture comes clout culture, people doing anything for clout, trying to do anything for attention, people flexing and showing off how much money that they make when they're just literally posting videos and short videos and stuff online, and people buying name brands and buying expensive cars and doing all that stuff. And yes, I'm all about eating the rich, and I just hate the fact that within my own generation, I'm Gen Z, that within my own generation we have literal influencers that are out here perpetuating the exact type of things that a lot of Gen Z people really could care less about, but at the same time can't stand. And I feel like influencers have this weird idea about themselves where they think that they're just so much better than everybody else, or that they think that they can be on the same level as a regular celebrity. Babe, and this applies to all influencers, babe, you're nobody's Beyonce, you're nobody's Carmen Diaz, you're nobody's Eddie Murphy. You will never be anybody's anybody's Dancing with the Stars, unless you end up scamming your way up there. But you will never be on the level of everyday celebrities. And I hate the fact that we as a society have kind of put influencers on the exact same level as being celebrities, when really they're just more so socialites. They're more so just people that are known for getting attention, for doing stuff online. And that also involves all of the controversy that so many influencers and stuff end up getting into. Right now, James Charles is in so much controversy, over him and his weird liking towards young boys that are still in high school when he's close to 22. And David Dobrik, who is another influencer who is just so big and has gotten so much attention for his short vlogs, and he's kind of in an in an allegation where he's involved in some very messed up stuff. So I do think a lot of influencers really parade themselves as being these great, awesome, fantastic beings and people, when in actuality they're all just human beings that all end up messing up. I just feel like they just don't deserve as much fame and attention that they end up getting. And I don't know why, like, social media wants to protect so many of these influencers. And let me even be honest real quick. The minute that a black influencer, and I'm black myself, the minute that a black influencer ends up doing something that's controversial, we will get canceled, we will get deplatformed, we will get pushed off of the face of the earth. But the minute that a white influencer does it, oh, they get so accepted and so loved. And the fact that social media parades these influencers everywhere across social media, and it's like you can't even really get a chance to shine your own self because everybody's still focused on liking a new influencer or liking influencers' pages and stuff. And I honestly feel as if that there needs to be more social media sites that make it more on an even scale, to where people don't have to feel the need to where they have to feel like judging themselves off of how many followers that they get, or how many likes that they get, or how much attention that they get. Which is why I will be talking about future social media sites that I feel will definitely end up being bigger plays into how creators and artists end up getting more attention. And how I feel as if that a lot of these future apps definitely need to be taken, several notches down and need to be updated or need to be changed and just need to do more than just being so based around how many followers and their algorithms and how much insights and attention that they get. Like, we need to put the creativity and the fun back in social media and not make it be so based off of editings and, unless you're an artist, But anywho, with TikTok, a lot of its trends mainly rely within how they do a certain type of dance move. And there's so many influencers right now that are getting so famous, like Dixie D'Amelio and Addison Rae and Charlie and Little Huddy and, all the famous white ones that are getting so much attention for being able to copy dance moves from other people of color and being rewarded for it by being able to dance on the Jimmy Fallon show or Jimmy Kimmel. I don't know which one it was, but one of the late night talk show male hosts, he had one of the TikTokers, Addison Rae, to go onto the show to dance a popular dance. And then she ended up getting an entire two-way trip back and forth to go and perform. Meanwhile, she wasn't even the one that created the dance. She copied this entire dance from a young black kid somewhere in America who ended up having to literally Zoom video chat with someone. He had to literally Zoom video chat to try and be able to show off his dance, his original dance that he created, that Charlie and Dixie and Addison and all these other TikTokers, I don't know all of them, but just saying, all of them go about dancing to do, and they ended up, the thing about a lot of these TikTok dances is the fact that they have no type of flavor, no type of seasoning. Like, all these TikTok dances literally look like cheerleader dance moves. Like, I kind of miss the fact that, I've missed the way that we used to dance with our feet. Instead, we're dancing with our hands and doing quick little dance moves that just involve, like, the similar old dances like the dab and the yaw and, like, all this stuff. Like, I'm only 19, but I sound so old the way I'm talking about this. I'm so sorry. But I just feel as if that a lot of TikTok trends are very unoriginal. Like, there's so much unoriginality within a lot of these TikTok trends, which I talk about in my blog post as well. But it just gets to the point where it's like, there's really, like, no talent anymore on TikTok. I mean, like, other than, like, the artists and the animators and stuff that do small things on TikTok, there's really, like, no actual talent on TikTok. Like, there just really isn't. And it's like people are doing the same exact things, the same exact audios over and over again. And, like, I don't know how many times you can do the exact same thing in the exact same audio, which is another thing TikTok doesn't do, is they don't credit the original dancer, they don't credit the original audio maker, they don't credit anyone with the originality of it. Like I said, TikTok really is, like, TikTok is starting to become like an Instagram, where it's like, it doesn't credit, it doesn't give originality, it's just stealing and just giving it to people that are more marketable. And if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. And there's so many other problems with TikTok, like the racism on TikTok, you know, like back last summer with, you know, everything with the protests and the George Floyd situation, which I see is starting to become like another big thing that's probably going to end up happening this year. But last summer there was so many problems with, you know, people being on social media and not being vocal about their own opinions and not being able to vocalize how they feel about, you know, black people and stuff like that. And I really cannot believe that the fact that literally people were on TikTok out here, they were literally being so blatantly racist. And it's like, it was such a shock to me to just be able to see that. But it's the fact that still so many black people have not even moved off the app. Like, we just talk about things and then we just continue to still use the app. Like, honestly, I just cannot stand TikTok sometimes. But they have a great algorithm. That's one thing I will say. That's like probably one of the only positive things I will say, is they have a great algorithm. Like, they really do. They really do. That's probably the only good thing about TikTok, is the fact that they have an algorithm that will be able to allow you to be seen more. But with my own struggles of trying to post my little video edits or whatever, is I can't even get past like a measly 300 views. I can't. I literally can't get past a measly 300 views and like a couple of like likes. And that's about it. And this is exactly what I talk about when I say social media just doesn't care about the otters. The otters? Oh my god. I'm getting so tongue twisted. The artists. They don't care about the artists, and they don't care about creativity anymore. And that's mainly what I'm trying to, like, my main moral of this entire event right now, or this entire podcast, if you're listening to it, is please, please, please pay attention to the artists. Please, please, please give recognition and support your local small artists, because we really need it. We barely get any attention. We really need the support. And if you can share, you can reference, you can talk about us, share our work, do anything, please do it. That's the most that you can actually do. And the rest will follow. That's at least how I feel, because we have trouble trying to be able to battle an algorithm, trying to be able to battle our own mental issues and stuff with feeling like our art is inadequate. And like we will never be seen, or we will never get like a chance to shine. And I know that's not true, but you can't help it, and that's like your own way of thinking. I didn't mean to get so deep right there, but it kind of does move on to my other topic about social media, and that is the apps that I feel are more inclined to supporting the artists. I know that there's other apps, but I've only wrote down like 3 right now, because being on these apps makes me feel somewhat comfortable. Well, technically only one of these apps makes me feel comfortable, but one of these apps, which is Tumblr, you know, I've been talking about Tumblr like here and there for a little bit, but I feel so comfortable to be able to be on Tumblr. I know that a lot of people don't really use Tumblr anymore, unless it's like you're like in fandoms, or unless you're like an artist or whatever. But that's really like why I like Tumblr now, is because a lot of the reason why it used to be called America's Hell Site, or the reason why it was such a huge hell site back in the day, was because it was so much toxicity. And like I was saying with Twitter, a lot of the PC, SJW, cancel culture type of people ended up moving over to Twitter after they ended up noticing that Tumblr ended up having a adult content ban, to where you can't post adult content, you can't do certain things on Tumblr without, you know, certain people not feeling like certain staff members not feeling so happy about seeing it. You can post certain things, but it just can't go over like the limit of, the limit. That's why I feel so much more comfortable in being able to do whatever I want on Tumblr. Like, I have my own little side things, my own little like side content that I do on Tumblr, which is movie reviews. I post my art. I talk a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit about, anything esoterical or anything, more like the occult or astrology. I make random funny little posts from time to time. Like I said, I share my art, and I just have like a lot of fun being on Tumblr. It's like your own personal bubble, where you don't have to really worry about anybody else. Like, I really barely ever get off of my own website to go check out other people's, my own Tumblr site to be able to go check on other people's, because I love being on my own Tumblr. It's kind of like my own little personal website, which I have my own, but I need to update it. But yeah, I enjoy using Tumblr a lot. And there's another app that is really helpful, and it's new. I was a beta tester for it. It's called Artfol. I definitely believe that everybody should go check out Artfol. It was made by I don't know if they were an Instagram artist before or not, but I know that they had many problems that I have with social media, which is not being able to have your art be seen and not able to have your art be noticed. And it's all because of these algorithms. And I feel as if that there needs to be more apps that don't cater towards how many likes that you get, or don't cater towards how many followers that you have. It can be on your profile, but it doesn't have to be like the main part of your profile or your portfolio. And Artfol has an amazing, and I mean an amazing, layout. You're able to post your art. You're able to post text posts. You're able to customize your profile any way that you want to. The exact same thing that you can do with Tumblr. You can customize your profile any way that you want to. And like, for some reason, it low-key kind of gives me some old MySpace vibes of being able to customize your platform and stuff. And it's like, I like that, because as someone that has never been able to use MySpace, I like that ability. I really do. And there's another new app that's somewhat recently new. It's called Hive Social. I definitely recommend that you all go and download it and go check it out. Create your account, get your usernames, because before it starts getting super poppin', it had like a little bit of a spur of a moment, but it's not like poppin' as much, because it still has like a lot of kinks and little updates it needs to really update on. Both of those apps do, both Artfol and Hive. But eventually they will, become, I feel, huge dominators, especially in the future, of being able to, take on the thing that we all want for social media, by being able to have chronological timelines, being able to not really care about how many followers that you have, being able to customize your platform the way that you want to. And also, the best thing about Hive is the fact that you're able to put music on your profile, which is so similar to what MySpace did. And I've been saying this forever. I would definitely ditch all social media, except for maybe Tumblr, if MySpace was to ever come back. So the fact that there are apps that are kind of, small remnants of what MySpace was and is. Now, moving on to the final closing part of the video. I know this has probably been like a very long video, so hopefully I didn't bore any of you or bore any of you future viewers or listeners. This is just a little vent about how I feel about social media. I literally have no idea when I'm going to really post this video, but I just wanted to allow people to really kind of get the understanding of where I come from and my own takes on social media, and how much of a struggle it is trying to be a small artist, and how all the struggles that all these other social media apps have really kind of torn a lot of my own artist spirit down, And the reason why I've had to kind of really look within and just start trying to realize that social media doesn't really mean anything to me. I want to be known. I want to be able to get my work out there, to start really working towards creating my own animated shows, my own animated movies, possibly even one day, releasing a book, and just so many other things. I want to create a studio or a small indie studio for any artists or any writers and animators and stuff that want to, release their work or want to, help, work with me and create my creations, and I help you create your creations. And we just all work together, just trying to work in a world where art and creativity just has such a hard time really trying to be expressed nowadays because of how uncreative our world is now. And yeah, I just want to just try and really start pushing myself out there. And it can be hard. It really can. There's been many times where I've literally given up, and many times where it's I've deleted and deactivated certain social media accounts for a little bit just to take small breaks to try and recenter myself. And it's really been a struggle, is what I will say, along with me having my own depression and my own mental issues and anxiety, having to deal with such a toxic household, trying to find ways I can just leave and start focusing on my own career and trying to escape. And it can be a lot, especially not having any financial support, especially not really having much faith in your own family members trying to help you and support you. And then it's when you have your friends who claim that they want to support you, and it's they really don't support all of your creative endeavors. It can be hard. It really can. And that's why it's sometimes best to at least try to either voice out your own feelings towards certain things, or just tell a friend, tell someone. I know all of us artists go through that, where it's we feel our art isn't adequate or it isn't good enough. And it's don't let anyone else ever tell you how your art should be or how your art should look or what worth or what value your art has. Social media should definitely not be the end-all be-all for your art. You should be able to create whatever you want to create, post it wherever you want to post it, do whatever you want to do, because as an artist, that's some of the greatest form of creation, and that's one of the greatest things that I love about being an artist. I have a quote that I created myself, and I just wanted to just say it real quick. And this is to any future artist. I'm at my greatest potential when I am creating. My creativity radiates like a frequency. My creative excelsis is where I am most happy, and where my true power relies. I am an artist, and creating any form of art is my power. And never forget that your art is your power. Be sure to turn on your post notifications to stay up to date when I post a new video. Don't forget to follow my socials, and please, please, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this Chaos Space episode. Hopefully I'll be able to do more. This is deVii, signing out. Bye guys.